Because you're daddy's girl, daddy's girl.
She's daddy's little princess, or maybe daddy's little tomboy.
What the?
In this video, we're talking about fictional daddy's girls across film, television, cartoons, and more. If you'd like to see more of this series, subscribe to the channel and like this video. There are a lot of great father-daughter relationships throughout fictional media. There are a ton of examples of daddy-daughter duos, and the daddy's girl archetype can range from a tomboy enjoying masculine hobbies with her pops to a spoiled daughter who gets doted on by a dad who sees her as his little princess.
She knows more about baseball than anyone in this room.
It's okay, Dad.
No, it's in my blood and it's in your blood too.
This dynamic is pretty common in real life too.
Really?
Really?
Studies have shown that fathers are generally more attentive to their daughters than they are their sons. You might have a dad who's rather distant towards his son, giving him praise from afar, or just generally being a hard ass. That same dad might be completely different around his daughters and spoil them to no end.
Yeah, but that's what dads are for.
On a whole other level, there are dads who straight up strangle their sons,
You little...
but are far more forgiving towards their daughters when they mess up.
Are you crying because you called Daddy a baboon?
All this doesn't necessarily mean that dads love their daughters more than their sons, of course. They just seem to have different ways of showing affection. Masculine norms seem to dictate that sons don't deserve much more than an awkward head pat from time to time, while dads will hold hands with their daughters.
It's an old man. Nigga. That's what you are. You just...
We're not saying that's how it should be, just that that's how dads are typically shown. A single dad may find himself going above and beyond to provide for his daughter and make up for an absent mother. If the daughter's mother died, for example, the dad will swoop in to comfort her and become especially close with his only daughter.
I promised your mommy I would protect you forever.
The dad may become overprotective as a result of the loss of the mother too, especially if he only has one child. In other cases, a single dad will have a whole squad of father figures and they'll all share a special bond with the daughters. Full House is a perfect example of this. In other cases, the daddy-daughter bond is strong simply because, well, the mother in the family kinda sucks. Similar to the dads who work hard after a mom dies, a divorced dad will often put an extra effort to fill the void left by a runaway mom. Perhaps one of the most charming versions of this example can be found in Veronica Mars.
Anything you need, honey, I'm here.
Keith takes great care of Veronica, and Veronica fiercely defends him even after the town, and her mom, turn on him. Keith tries his best to bring some normalcy into their life and is fiercely protective of her as well. In other times, the shitty mom may still be in the household and the daddy-daughter bond will form because, well, the daughter isn't about to befriend her abusive mom. The dad in question might not even be that much better, honestly, but he at least tries to form some sort of awkward bond between them. These scenarios are far more bittersweet. Less intense examples will have a slightly overbearing and critical mother who pushes the daughter closer to her more chill dad.
Dad, come in.
How'd you know it was me?
Mom doesn't knock.
Go on. It's yours.
Of course, daddy's girls don't always pop up because of an absent or less than stellar mother. There are a ton of them who become closer to the dad simply because they relate to them more. This usually seems to present itself in the form of a tomboy who bonds with their dad over manly hobbies like fixing up cars. In a fantasy work, the daddy's girl will work with her dad to become a warrior. Usually, the dad will be a little reluctant to put their beloved little girl out in battle, but they'll give in eventually and teach them the ways of the warrior. Or the dad will jump at the chance to share their skills with their daughter, and the mom will be the one concerned.
Now, there's a good girl. Draw all the way back now.
It doesn't have to be a tomboyish hobby that the two bond over, though. There are some academic daddy's girls who read the same books as their dads or even have the same prestigious careers. Daddy's girls might show an interest in taking over Dad's business too, and happily sidle up next to him during work hours to learn the tricks of the trade. Usually, it's the dad who's a bit awkward about their affection for their daughter, but every once in a while, it's the daughter who's reluctant to let her pops know how much she loves him.
Like, maybe when you're old and senile, I'll close the restaurant and come spring you from the nursing home.
What?
Audiences eat up examples of Daddy's Girls where the dad is a total sleazebag but will do anything for his daughter. There's something about the contrast that really makes their relationship especially sweet and endearing.
We are totally doing battle on the field of honor.
A hardened dad who has a soft spot for his daughter is another surefire way to win over the audience's emotions.
Oh, and you look at a picture of me.
Yeah. Oh. Right now, shit.
There are also villainous Daddy's Girls who train to take the mantle of their fathers. These are Daddy's little villain, and they might take the form of a femme fatale sidekick or an equally power-hungry successor. And similarly to how Mama's Boys and Daddy's Girls served as foils in earlier examples, a Daddy's little villain can be a foil to their evil dad's son.
I share my father's vision and seek the same ends, but I do not choose his means to those ends.
Avatar has a great example of this with Azula and Zuko. Azula is a bit more successful when it comes to evil, at least in the beginning, so therefore she winds up getting way more praise from their dad and is willing to do his bidding. Azula isn't exactly the healthiest example of the Daddy's Girl trope. In fact, there are actually a ton of Daddy's Girls who turn out to be little shits for various reasons. If the dad spoils their daughter too much, they could wind up being a full-fledged brat on their hands.
I'm Princess Morbucks, and my daddy owns the network.
While the dad may not be particularly immoral, they'll end up spawning an unholy monster of a child who throws fits when they don't get their way.
Bunker, how much do you want for the golden goose?
They're not for sale.
Name your price.
She can't have one.
There are evil dads who wind up using their power over their daughter to manipulate them into doing evil too. A dad like Thanos, for example. Wowee, is he guilty of screwing his adopted daughters up? Gamora loved her mad Titan dad after she was rescued by him when she was a wee lass, but then Xanos groomed her to be an assassin. Sure, he legitimately cared about her, but raising a kid to be a tool for your evil schemes is pretty shitty.
Is the Soul Stone.
On the other hand, Nebula is a wannabe Daddy's Girl who loves Thanos deeply despite the fact that he treats her like total crap. She yearns for his affection even though Thanos obviously cares about Gamora more. This shows how the Daddy's Girl trope can wind up fostering jealousy out of favoritism. Then, of course, there's the overprotective nature of the dad in these types of dynamics.
And leave my little girl all alone in the wilderness? No way!
These can get pretty dang unhealthy. There are also some problems with the dad protecting his daughter's stereotypes, since they can often dip into sexism and straight up be overly violent. Veronica Mars has an especially chilling example of an overprotective dad going way too far. This is definitely a Daddy's Girl dynamic gone wrong. There's definitely a lot of variety to the Daddy's Girl trope.
I want you to be happy, that's all.
It can be incredibly heartwarming, or it can be deeply problematic.
Hey, watch your language.
The negative versions subvert the audience's expectations and effectively pack an emotional punch.
Stay with me. I can't let you go.
Father.
It works because we know that doting fathers exist in real life, so it twists the real-life example into something horrific.
You don't love me!
And of course, the cute and positive examples touch audiences because we've probably seen a loving father who's wrapped around their daughter's fingers in real life. Are there any daddy-daughter pairs that we forgot? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.